When Andrew and I were many, many moons ago going through the process to be married, the pastor at the church where we were said that he had a secret for a lifelong marriage, and it was to stare at your partner in the eyes for 5 minutes every day, maybe not even saying anything. And at the time, it sounded like an odd piece of advice, and I would say that it is not something that we have done consistently every day since then. But there is some truth to, if you are having a difficult moment with somebody, be it a partner or a friend or a child or a parent, a colleague, and if you just stop and stare in that person's eyes and look at them and think about them being a child of God and to really see them for a moment, it does change in some way those feelings, negative ones, that you may have been having in that moment of conflict. We understand why people say things about the eyes being the gateway to the soul, or Jesus saying that they are the lamp to the body, and even how interesting it is that science tells us that every iris is unique to every human being, something like zebra stripes and snowflakes, that they are never repeated, and that the way that each person's eye color comes together is totally unique, the only human that will ever have it. And so today we are thinking in this Monday message about what it means to see and to be seen, and what a gift that can be, and maybe how healing that can be at times. And so I want to read a Bible passage that perhaps isn't a typical one for a message like this, and it comes from Genesis chapter 16. And it is when God speaks to Hagar, who is the slave of Abraham and Sarah, who is forced to give birth as a concubine to Abraham's child Ishmael, when Sarah and Abraham are getting anxious about whether or not the promise of descendants more than the stars in the sky would become true for them. So after this happens, and once Hagar becomes pregnant, Sarah's cruel to her, and she leaves and says that she will not go back to that house. And then the angel of the Lord finds her and says to her this. My lighting's a little in and out. Now you have conceived and shall bear a son. You shall call him Ishmael, for the Lord has given heed to your affliction. He shall be a wild donkey of a man, with his hand against everyone, and everyone's hand against him. And he shall live at odds with all his kin. So Hagar named the Lord who spoke to her, "You are El Roi," for she said, "Have I really seen God and remained alive after seeing him?" El Roi in Hebrew means the God who sees. Hagar is the very first person in the scriptures to name God. The very first person. And what she says is the God who sees. The angel gave her difficult words about her son and what life would be like, but also tells her the Lord has heard your affliction, knows exactly your situation, and has something to say to you in it. And so she knows in that moment that even though the path that is told her is not easy, that she has been seen, and the presence of God is with her, and that she is not alone. I read a story that a pastor tells about how he and a leader of his church were going into a room and were looking for a meeting that wasn't there. And when they went into that room, the only person there was a janitor, the sexton of the church. And so the pastor walked in and said, "Nobody's in here." And the sexton immediately turned and said, "I am here. Do you not see me?" The pastor was embarrassed, terribly embarrassed, and apologized. But it is a story that helps us remember what it feels like to be overlooked, what it feels like to not be seen, and then to think about all the scriptures where Jesus sees people and knows exactly what their context is and what it is that they need, and is able to give them a promise that his presence would be with them even when things remained hard, that he saw them and they were not alone, and that they would go through them together. So today, may El Roi, the God who sees, be with you in whatever way you need. Go in peace.